Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel Zenith Academy Online. We are doing the second part of goods and service tax. So without any further ado, let's start. Now to learn the GST calculation, what we first need to understand is the concept of interstate and intrastate transactions. So let's first understand what is intrastate. That is within the state. Intrastate always means within the state. Okay. So what is that? See, we have taken for an example the state of Maharashtra. So when a person in Mumbai is selling or purchasing goods from a person in Pune, so that transaction will be called intrastate because this is happening within the state of Maharashtra, not outside the state of Maharashtra with any other state. So the transaction between these two persons, that is either selling or purchase of goods, is said to be the intrastate transaction. So here in India, this person from Rajasthan and this person from Karnataka, the transaction is happening between these two persons and hence two different states are involved, and so this transaction is the interstate transaction. The composition of GST. Now, if you have seen any of your bills, any of your shopping bills, you must have realized that GST is charged in two parts, CGST and SGST. So what is that? Central GST or CGST is collected by the central government for the intrastate transactions. For the intrastate transactions, please keep this in mind, or movement of goods and services. In case of CGST, the beneficiary is the central government. Okay. For SGST, state GST, or we have union territories. So union territory GST, UGST, is collected by the state government or union territory for the intrastate or union territory transaction or movement of goods and services. In case of SGST, the beneficiary is the state government. In the case of UGST, the beneficiary is of course the union territory government. So whenever, say suppose in our example, let's say a product we buy is of rupees 500 and we need to pay the GST. So how GST will be charged? First it will be CGST and then it is SGST. So let's suppose the rate of tax is 10%. So 5% is allocated to CGST and 5% is for SGST. So this will be 5% of 500 will be 25 rupees and similarly here 25, which will give us rupees 50, the total tax on this rupees 500. Okay, so this is how the allocation is made. Now there is one more, that is integrated GST. Now we have CGST and SGST for intrastate or intra-union territory purchases or sale. Now for sale from interstate transaction, that is sale between two states, we have integrated GST is levied by the central government for interstate transaction or movement, including imports of goods and services. Suppose one person from Rajasthan is supplying goods to a person in Maharashtra. So say the value of the goods supplied is rupees 500. So there will be a one tax, that is integrated GST will be charged and this will be directly paid. This rupees 50 will directly be paid to the central government. Now let's start solving some questions. Now we know what is intrastate and interstate. So let's begin. A dealer in Bhopal is in Madhya Pradesh. So suppose the dealer name is X, supplies goods and services worth 8,000 to Y, a person in Indore. Indore is also in Madhya Pradesh. So if the rate of GST is 28%, find CGST and SGST. Now, since they both are in the same state, that is Madhya Pradesh, this is an intrastate transaction and we just need to find the central GST and state GST. The rate of tax given to us is 28%. So, how will we find out? For CGST, the value of goods is 8,000 rupees. Please don't forget to write the unit. Rupees 8,000 into, now since this is rate is 28%, so we'll allocate equally between central GST and state GST. So it will be 14% for CGST. So what will be the amount? 14% of 8,000. What will be? $1120, right? So our CGST is rupees 1120. The next we need to find is SGST, which is equal to 8,000 into 14%. Same, because it is allocated equally. So rupees 1120. So the total tax, that is the 28% GST, total GST levied is 1120 plus 1120, which is equal to rupees 2240. Okay. Now this was easy. Let's move on to our next question. Find amount of bill for the following intrastate transaction of goods. The rate of GST is 12%. Now we have been given the MRP and we have been given the discount rate. So if you have seen a previous video, you know discount is always calculated on that list price or the MRP, the mark price. We'll calculate discount, and after discount the price which we will get, we will calculate tax on that price. Okay, that will be the selling price. See, I make a table MRP, discount, this is rate of discount, so this is amount of discount, we will have selling price. So let's say this column is A, this is B, this column as C, and selling price column is D. MRP is given to us as 250. The rate of discount is 30%. So what will be the amount of discount? 30% of 250, which will give us what? 75 rupees. What will be the selling price? Selling price we know here, this column D is equals to A. This is our MRP minus this discount, A minus C. So what is 250 minus 75? This will give us 175. Okay. Similarly, we'll complete the table. So what will be the total selling price we have. This, so let's total it. This is our total selling price. We need to find the amount of the bill. Now this is intrastate transaction and the GST is 12%. So for intrastate transaction we have two taxes, CGST and SGST equally allocated. So let's see, our selling price or SP is equal to rupees 637. On this value we'll calculate GST. So first is CGST 637 into GST rate is 12%. So equally allocated means CGST will be 6%. This gives us 38.22. So this will give us rupees 38.22. Our SGST is also 6%. So 637 into 6% will give us 38.22 rupees. Now we'll add these both terms and we'll find the total tax, total amount of bill. So it will be what? Sale price, which is equal to rupees 637, CGST, which is equal to rupees 38.22, and SGST, which is equal to rupees 38.22. So the total will be 713.44. So our amount of bill is equal to 713.44. Okay, don't forget to write rupees. Let's solve our other question. Find the amount of bill for the following interstate transaction. So interstate transaction means the tax which will be charged is the integrated GST or IGST. So here we need to calculate only IGST. Interstate transaction of services provided by some consulting agency. So let's have first column as cost. Our second column will be the rate of discount. Our third column will be amount of discount. Selling price. So let's begin. First is 2,400. Rate of discount given is 12%. So amount of discount will be 12% of 2,400, which will give us 288. Now 2,400 is the cost, discount is 288. So selling price will be similarly we'll find for the other three services. So our total will be 10,109.6. This is our total sales value. Now we need to find the amount of bill. Same way we'll do. So on 10,109.6 we'll calculate IGST at the rate 12%. So that will be into 12 divided by 100. Since here it is divided by 100, so our decimal point will shift backwards, and then we'll need to multiply 101.096 into 12. So this will give us 12 1213.52. That is 1213.52. Remember to write rupees, okay? Now, our amount of bill is first the sale price, which is equal to 10,109.6, add IGST, so it is 1213.52. So our total is 11323.12 rupees. Okay, so this is our answer. Let's move on. Our next question. Mr. Pankaj took health insurance policy for his family and paid rupees 900 as SGST. So here we have been given the amount of SGST paid by Mr. Pankaj. Find the total annual premium including GST paid by him for this policy. Rate of GST being 18%. See, this question is different in a way. We have been given the amount of SGST paid by Mr. Pankaj and GST rate we have been given. What we need to find out is the total annual premium including GST. Okay. So, SGST is equal to rupees 900. Rate of GST is equal to 18%. Now, if total rate of GST is 18%, what will be the rate of SGST? 9%? Because they are equally allocated. So, SGST is equals to 9%. Now, this 9% is in turn equal to rupees 900. Let us suppose that our annual premium on which the GST was calculated is X. This is X rupees, okay. Now, 9% of this X rupees is equal to 900. 9% of X is equal to rupees 900. So, what will be the value of X? Now we can find from this equation. So, 9 divided by 100 into X is equal to 900. It's easy for us to solve this algebraic equation. So, what will be our X? 10,000. X is equals to rupees 10,000. After solving this equation, we'll get X is equals to rupees 10,000. Now, this X is without GST and we need to find the total annual premium including GST. So, how will we do that? Our annual premium is equal to rupees 10,000. Now here we will add CGST and SGST amount. So SGST was given to us as 900. No, don't need to calculate. SGST will be same 900. So the total will be 11,800 and hence our answer, the total annual premium. we move on to a concept, input tax credit. So, in my previous video, I told you that GST paid by the dealer is the difference of the GST collected by him on the sales minus GST paid by him on the purchases. So, this is what that input tax credit is. Let's read. That difference is actually called that the GST paid on that purchase is actually called the input tax credit, which we take, that is which we subtract from the GST collected on our sale. See, let's see. Input tax credit means that while paying tax on sale, that is output of goods and services, you can avail the tax you have already paid on the purchase of the above goods or services and pay only the balance amount as tax. That is the difference between the GST collected on sale and the GST paid on purchase. So, that GST paid on purchase is the input, purchase is always the input, so hence the name input tax credit. Our next point says, input tax includes CGST, SGST, IGST paid on input goods, input services, etc. So, it includes all these three types of taxes, the GST we have. Our third point, only a registered person is entitled to take credit of input tax charged on supply of goods or services. So, for suppose the dealer is not registered under GST Act, so he will not be eligible to claim this input tax credit. That is, he will have to pay the GST, the total GST collected on his sales, and he will not be allowed to subtract that GST which he has already paid on the purchase. So, he needs to be a registered person. Credit of tax paid on every input used for supply of taxable goods or services both is allowed under GST. Now, for this, let's consider an example. A shopkeeper has a shop, and in that shop he uses electricity services, that is for lighting his bulb, etc. So, that electricity services is chargeable to tax, and the amount paid by the shopkeeper on that electricity charges as tax is actually allowed to be claimed as input tax credit. Okay. For the purchase of petroleum products, liquor, petrol, diesel, motor spirit, etc., input tax credit is not available. Please keep in mind, there are certain products like petroleum products, liquor, petrol, diesel, motor spirit, on which you cannot claim the input tax credit. In exports of goods or services, GST is not payable. So, when we export goods from India to another country, GST is not payable, but still input tax credit is available. So, such transactions are called zero rated transactions in GST. However, GST is not collected on sale, but GST is paid on purchase by the dealer, so that input tax credit will still be available. And the last point, input tax credit can be availed only on goods or services for business purposes. So, shopkeeper can avail it only for business purposes. If he is using for his personal use, it cannot be availed as input tax credit. So, for suppose the electricity charges paid by him which is used at his home is not allowed for input tax credit to be claimed here on the sale of goods and services. We have three types of taxes. GST comprises of three: CGST, SGST and IGST. So, if we have an input tax credit, how will it be adjusted? So, for suppose we have made purchases from interstate, that is from other state, not from the state in which our business is registered. So, the input credit on account of IGST is to be adjusted against payment of IGST So what will be the order of adjusting the input tax credit of IGST? First, obviously, it will be IGST. If all the amount is adjusted against this payment of IGST, then okay, but still the balance is left, then on the second it will be CGST, and finally if still the balance is left, it will be utilized against SGST or UTGST wherever the business is registered. Okay, let's move on to our question. An article is sold from Jaipur is in Rajasthan, to Indore, MP for rupees 5,000, and then Indore to Bhopal, which is in Madhya Pradesh. In this question, we have two transactions happening. Jaipur to Indore is interstate. Two different states are there, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. And Indore to Bhopal, they are intrastate because they are both in the same state. If the rate of tax under GST system is 18% and the profit made by the dealer in Indore is 2,000, find net GST payable by the dealer in Indore. CP for the dealer in Bhopal. Assume that the dealer in Bhopal is the end user. Now it is saying article is sold from Jaipur. So since it is from Jaipur, it will attract IGST because it is an interstate transaction. So SP, that is selling price in Jaipur. See, 5,000 is the cost. This is the selling price. Okay. So 5,000 in Jaipur, it will be 5,000 into 18%, the rate of tax. So 5,000 into 18% will give us what? 900. This is our IGST. So 5,000 plus 900 will actually give us the selling price in Jaipur. Now please see carefully, this is the selling price in Jaipur. See, 5,000 was the actual price of that good. So this will again become the cost price of the Indore for Indore because it has purchased on that this price. Since we had GST on value addition, we will not include this amount of GST for this for the cost price. Okay, so cost price for Indore is equal to 5,000, add profit. Now here the question is saying profit made by the dealer in Indore is rupees 2,000. So we'll add profit here. This will be the selling price in Indore. Okay. Now on this 7,000, when from Indore it is sold in Bhopal, selling price in Indore is equal to 7,000. Now since from Indore it is sold in Bhopal, so it is an intrastate transaction. We will have CGST and SGST as the component of GST. They both will be at the rate 9%. So what is 9% of 7,000? 630. So what is the total amount? 8260 paid by the customer. Since Bhopal is written as the end user, so paid by customer. Now what we need to calculate is the GST payable by the dealer. On the sale, it collected GST. The total of this 630 plus 630. This is collected on sale. Minus, we'll take the input tax credit, which the tax which we paid on the input, that is the purchase. So when it was purchasing from Jaipur, what was the amount of tax it had to pay? IGST at the rate 18%, which was equal to 900. Now, if you remember in the previous slide, what I told you, this is IGST and this is CGST, SGST. So IGST is first adjusted against any IGST paid on sales, which is not here. Next, it is adjusted against CGST. So we'll adjust it in the same order. So now, first CGST. So CGST is equal to 630. Our IGST balance is 900. So what we will do? 900 minus 630. First we'll allocate 630 from 900. This is small. This is less than 900. So whole of this amount will be adjusted, which means CGST will be adjusted against IGST. So our balance left of IGST will be rupees 270. Now this 270 can be adjusted against 630 of SGST. So for SGST, we will utilize this 270. SGST is equal to 630. When we utilize 270, so what will remain? Rupees 360. This rupees 360 is what is actually need to be payable by the Indore dealer to the government. So only SGST has to be paid. Okay, so our last question for this session. A manufacturer in Delhi manufactures a machine and marks it at 60,000 rupees. Now he sells the machine to a wholesaler in Patna. Manufacturer is from Delhi and is selling to the wholesaler in Patna. So interstate transaction at a discount of 20%. The wholesaler sells the machine to a dealer in Agra. Now again the wholesaler is selling this machine to a dealer in Agra, again an interstate transaction at a discount of 10% on the marked price. If the rate of GST is 28%, find the tax paid by the wholesaler to the central government. We need to find the tax paid by the wholesaler. So wholesaler is the one who has sold to a trader in Agra, and he is the one who has purchased it from Delhi. So if we need to find the tax paid by the wholesaler, we can do it like this tax paid on the sale made by him, tax collected on the sale made by him minus the tax paid on the purchases. So cost price for the manufacturer. Manufacturer has marked it at rupees 60,000. He is selling to the dealer at a discount of 20%. So less discount at the rate 20%. 12,000 rupees is the discount. So what will be the selling price of manufacturer? 60,000 minus 12,000, 48,000. Okay. Now, this is the selling price of the manufacturer. This wholesaler sells the machine to a dealer in Agra at a discount of 10% on the marked price. Now here, please be careful while reading the question. This is given to us as marked price. Discount is on the marked price. So we need to calculate discount on 60,000, not the selling price of the manufacturer, which will in turn be our cost price. Okay. Cost price of dealer is equal to, we will take it as 60,000. Discount is 10%. So 10% of 60,000 is 6,000. So selling price of dealer in Patna, okay, is 54,000. Correct? Now, what our concept is, we need to find the tax paid by this dealer in Patna. Now, we have the cost price on which he had paid the tax, and now we have the selling price on which he would have collected the tax from the person in Agra. So, we can take out that difference. Tax paid is equal to output tax minus input tax. So this will be, output tax will be what? The rate of tax, that is 28%. Now here we are not bifurcating in CGST and SGST because all the transaction, whether between the manufacturer or the dealer in Patna or the dealer in Patna and the dealer in Agra, both are interstate transactions. So we'll have only one GST, that is the IGST at the rate 28%. So the tax, output tax, 54,000 into 28%. This will be our output tax because this was the selling price of the dealer of the Patna and the cost price for the dealer in Agra, minus 48,000 into 28%. Let's take 28% common. So we can write 28% as 28 by 100 into 54,000 minus 48,000 we can do. So what is 54,000 minus 48,000? 6,000. Which will give us 1680, and which is our answer, the tax paid by the wholesaler. This completes our session. Now we have completed GST. Please, if you haven't yet watched the previous video, I request you to do watch it and solve these sums. If you have any problem solving these sums, let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Keep the learning on.